Do my nails with me whilst I tell you facts about hyenas. So hyenas, although they look like dogs and they hunt in groups and their build is much more similar to dogs, it turns out they're actually more closely related to cats than they are to dogs. So all cats and dogs belong to an order called Carnivora. They're carnivores, and that's split into several smaller orders or suborders, one of which is Feliforma, i.e. cat-like animals, and one of which is Carnivora, which is dog-like animals. And it turns out that hyenas actually fall under the Feliforma group. So they're much more related to cats than they are to dogs, and they actually have their own family called Hyenidae, and there's 4 different hyena species that live in that group. There's the spotted hyena, the striped hyena, the brown hyena, and the aardwolf, which is an insect-eating hyena type species. Now, hyenas and felines, the cat families, shared a common ancestor about 30 to 40 million years ago, and today their closest living relatives are mongooses and civets. And I'm not sure if I need to do another code. I think it's fine. So while they are more closely related to cats, they ended up actually filling a much more dog-like ecological niche because there weren't any large dogs in the area where they were evolving and adapting. And so they have a couple of behaviours that are much more dog-like. For example, they hunt in packs, they do a lot of running on the ground, and they don't climb trees. And so unlike other cats, unlike cats, they don't have retractable claws, and they have very, very hard calloused paws that allow them to get a grip whilst they're running. They also catch prey with their teeth, like dogs tend to, and they have a much more scavenger-like behaviour, which is quite unusual in cats. They are still in the Feliforma suborder, which means that they will have a couple of habits that are more cat-like than dog-like, and some of these include how they raise their young, how they groom each other, that's much more cat-like than it is dog-like, and how they mark their territories using scent in a way that's much more similar to cats. Civets and mongooses do the same thing because they all belong to that same suborder of Feliforma, which is separate to the Carnivora, where dogs belong to. Hyenas are much more closely related to cats than they are to dogs, despite how they look and behave. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, here's another fun fact. Hyenas are matriarchal, so the females are highest in the pecking order, and females have something called a pseudopenis, which is what they pee out of, mate through, and give birth out of. And it's something that you can see, and it's often confused for a normal penis, but it isn't.